because everybody's rubbing the piss out their cars.
And a big old mouth come up from the bottom. Golly.
Welcome back, you guys. We're in for another ride today. We are going to be going ahead and heading out across the Pensacola Dam. Gonna be heading up to Mooney's Bar and Grill. It's gonna be up in Disney. So that's gonna be an interesting little ride. Never been up there before, nor have I been across the Pensacola Dam, so figured this would make a pretty good video too right here. I've had a lot of these planned, not gonna lie. Since I got that Sportster, my Iron 1200, I built a list of places I wanted to go to. This could be a pretty interesting thing for y'all to do at home too, you know. Build you a list of some places that you want to go to that's down in your area, state, whatever, and just start knocking them off your list, man. I mean, there's only, you go on YouTube or you can go on Google and just do some Google searches, and you'll find some of these little hot spots that people like to go by, or these tourist spots in your local area. And it's really cool to go check them out because there's a reason why they're tourist spots to begin with. Let's be honest here. This morning I went ahead and we stopped by the Tulsa Hills donut store up here. Seems to be that they've always got donuts, so that's my main reason for going there. Big fan of daylight donuts, but sometimes it's hard to catch them whenever you don't get up super early in the morning. It's kind of hard to catch them with the good selection of donuts, and it seems to me that this place always seems to have them. So this place is a good hour and a half ride away from me, so it hopefully shouldn't be too bad. Alright guys, so we stopped here in Shoto for a second. I wanted to show you guys my grandpa's bike. I know I've mentioned it quite a few times on the channel. Figured you guys might actually want to see it at some point in time. Good old twin cam. We got this interesting Amish cheese house right here. This place is pretty neat. It's a pretty interesting camper. I'm gonna keep it rolling as we go through here. One thing I definitely gotta enjoy as a modern luxury, right? GPS, I tell you what. Being able to just pick a spot and go there is nice. And one thing they don't really tell you about, I mean, I guess you hear it a lot when it comes to dealing with bikes with small gas tanks. They're like, oh, you just have to stop by a gas station, right? And you can plan right around that, and it won't necessarily be all that bad, but it's still not as nice as just not having to plan around it, to be honest with you. This ride out here, look at that big ass chair they built. That's the Amish for you. He was just letting me know that keep your eyes peeled for the coppers around here, which in a place like this I could completely understand that. It's a 45 through here. Look at that antique store. I was like, this place is interesting. I had to make sure to pull over. Couldn't hear my camera at all turning off and on. So I was like, shit. Stop for a fucking piss break and mess with my camera a little bit. A lot of this has been highway, so there hasn't been much of it to honestly really catch on camera. It's just been these straight shots of highway. I think I literally just did like 50 miles of, maybe not 50, I think it was like 40 miles of just straight. I think we're going to be heading into Pryor here in a minute. This is Shoto. Man, I'm definitely enjoying these trips coming out here. Look at this. I think that's a church. Yeah, Shodo First Baptist Church. That's a pretty big old church. You know, it never disappoints whenever you're riding out here in these parts, man, where it's just these long shots of practically nothing for as far as the eye can see, and then you run up on this small little town full of interesting stuff. But now that we got past that, I'm gonna go ahead and cut out here. I think it's like 9 more miles and then we'll be hitting into Pryor. Alright, so Pickles Bar and Grill. Now we're in Pryor Creek. This place is definitely neat. Look at that. America's Car Mart. Look at that. What the? That was a giant rock stacked on top of another giant rock. Some of this stuff I'd be wondering what the heck it is even out here. Good old John Deere. Walmart, as always. Guys, I think that was the majority of the interesting part of Pryor. So I indeed was a liar. As soon as I turned it off, 2 seconds later we rolled up on this area. Got somebody on a motorcycle, a murder cycle if you will. Got a person from Missouri in front of me here. These little towns are super interesting though, I'm not gonna lie. When you guys are doing some of your riding trips, do y'all really like going through these little towns like this, or do y'all like spending as much time as you can on the highway, just getting as many miles as you can? Because me personally, I feel like part of the journey is getting to see all this different stuff instead of just, yeah, I don't know, just being on the highway. Because the highway obviously is an effective way to get around, you know. You're going to get somewhere a whole lot faster on the highway than you're going to be doing kind of what we're doing here. Moped! But in all reality, you see more stuff through here, and isn't that what you're like really out there doing anyways? I mean, just trying to see something new. Faded Flamingo. Casey's Vapor. That seems like a really small vape shop right there. Interesting fact, right? I used to actually work at a vape shop myself. Super cool job. I really loved it. It was a place called the Vapor Crew, and wow, look at that. That's shipping containers. But really cool job. I really loved it. I had it I had got it while I was actually just had moved. Well, I hadn't just moved, but I was pretty new into my first apartment that I ever lived out of, right? So it was my real big first move outside of the parents' house. Granted, I did, at 18, I did move out in what I did. A lot of the people y'all think wouldn't do it, right? But I moved out into a pull-along trailer in the back of one of my friend's house. Ooh. Oh, there's a Ford RS back there. I was like, what's making all that popping? There's a... Yeah. Our 2-cylinders sound as good as their 4. Now it smells like gasoline in the air over here because everybody's rubbing the piss out their cars. Yeah. The funny part is it's a Honda and a Ford Focus, one of them RS's, or it could have been an ST. There's not an RS badge on it. I'm pretty sure somebody in an RS version wouldn't be debadging their RS. So that was interesting that y'all got to see. But yeah, no, I moved along into a pull-along trailer, had no water, and the only way it had electricity was if I ran a extension cord from their house, the actual house, to the pull-along trailer itself. So I had some electricity, and I had one AC unit that worked. And boy, let me tell you what, it sucked bad. There would be times where I bet you it was every bit of 90 to 100 degrees almost sitting in that trailer, and oh my gosh, sometimes in these Oklahoma heats there's just no way to beat it, you know. But you know, it was the price I paid to not live at home with mom and dad. Oh my god. And that was my first experience with moving out. My second experience with moving out was whenever I moved out into some apartments for the very first time, and that was nice. The apartments were super nice, and it felt like my first big accomplishment, because before that, you know, obviously I was just living at a home with mom and dad, and then your boy upgraded his life, and I was able to move out to this nice plush apartment. And the old saying goes, right, or at least around this area, you always laugh, you know, when your kids move out, you know, this is what my parents told us, you know, you always end up moving out twice or something like that. And sure as shit, they was right. Somehow 6 months into my first year there, everything in my life fell apart, quite literally, and I lost everything. I didn't have my car no more. I didn't have my house no more. In fact, I couldn't even have the bed I was sleeping on anymore because I did not have any space for it. So it was a real humbling experience to feel like, you know, I had everything, because I'd worked really hard up until that point to have a lot of stuff that I had. Believe it or not, motorcycles were never even in my frame of thought at any given point in time. I was a big car guy, so I dumped every bit of money that I could possibly even dump into a 93 Z28 Camaro. I'll try to throw up a picture. But man, I loved that car, and that's what got me into the whole mechanic side of everything. You know, I loved working on that car. I loved being able to go drive it and shit like that, and I put a lot of money into the car. But eventually I ended up having to let it go. Admittedly, I didn't have to, but I did. At that time in my life where I was thinking I was going to be heading, you know, it just didn't pan out that way, and I'm super glad about that too. I ended up trading my Camaro for an old Danger Ranger, and get this, right? 2 months after, actually I think it's about 4 months. 4 months after I traded that Camaro, the transmission blew up on the Ranger that I had, and so I was pretty much out of luck right there, you know. Wasn't making a whole lot of money, and getting a vehicle was about the hardest damn thing I had done all the way up until that point, other than moving out. And I could argue that moving out was just as easy as buying the car. It's just a couple $1,000s and you can start making shit work. But coming up with a couple grand at the time was super hard, so I couldn't necessarily go ahead and go get another car. So what I ended up doing is sucking it up in Rocklahoma. Ended up sucking it up, and I went to work up at Whataburger with me mother, and she's got an insane work ethic, right? And she works legitimately like 60 hours a week. I just can't even imagine, you know. And so like I asked her, I was like, hey look, can I just ride with you to work every day? I was like, it'll only be long enough until I can afford myself a car. And so that's what I did, you know. I did that for a few months, and it sucked, man. It really did. Not even just because it was 60 hours a week, neither. The reason why it sucked so bad was because we didn't have a set shift, and we worked night times, morning times, and day times all in the same week. There'd be 2 days where I was an overnighter. There'd be 2 days where I was, you know, in the mornings, and then you just really never knew exactly where you were going to be. So you were just really at the mercy of the job. But that, you know, that's what I needed at the time. I didn't have time for playing around. I had to have time to get work done. And so that's what I made happen. And I got myself in a good enough position with doing that, that I was able to go ahead and get myself the Mustang. Try to throw up a picture of it now. And that worked really well, actually. I really loved that Mustang for quite a while. Any of y'all out there who just hates on them turbo Mustangs, I mean, or let me put this right, the turbo EcoBoost Mustang. Any of y'all out there who just really hate those cars, I just, for the life of me, can't see why you hate it. I can see why you don't want it, but I don't see why you hate it, because it's honestly a really great car. And it's the same platform as the V8, it's just not quite as fast, and it makes a different sound. But if you want to get real into it, if you don't care about sound, right, the EcoBoost is a perfect car for the everyday person. Let's just be honest, because with an exhaust, man, not even an exhaust, if you want to really be smart about it, you can do a couple little free stuff to your exhaust, like get rid of the mufflers and then do a Y pipe and get rid of your cats. Do an intake and then throw you a blow-off valve and then throw you a tune on it, like a comp tune. That fucking car will run, I'm telling you. It will be making close to 500 horsepower, and the weight difference alone paired with the making the same amount of horsepower as the V8 versions, you'd be surprised. You're gonna beat a lot of V8s in your 4-cylinder. I'm not a big fan of 4-cylinders. I'm not gonna pretend. So eventually I ended up getting sick of the car, and that's why I think I mentioned it in a video or so ago that it's gone. You know, I got rid of that car, It wasn't necessarily 100% by choice, but it kind of just worked out. We had a really big storm about 2 weeks ago, and boy golly, I wrecked my car for the first time in my life. I was moving about 50 miles an hour, and the rear end just came out from underneath me, and I did like a 360 in the middle of the road for like, I don't know, 30-40 feet, and then slammed into a barrier, totaled the front of my car, ripped up my suspension, all kinds of stuff. That car is just mangled. And you know, this is why I said just kind of felt like it was a little just meant to be. You know, I walked out of that without a scratch or anything on me. Looks like we're coming into Adair right now, and what's the luck of that? I have a 50-mile-an-hour crash and I not even get a scratch. You know, I walked out, I had a sore back and I had a sore neck for about a week and a half afterwards. Even right now I'm still fine, you know, like nothing existing. So if you ask me, it was like the car just worked itself out, and now that it's gone, I don't have to worry about it no more. And honestly, I'd prefer that. I don't necessarily even want a car. If I could ride a motorcycle all year round, which I pretty much do, this place is neat, I'm going to, you know. That's another reason why I went ahead and chose this over a sport bike. Daily in a sport bike is not the funnest. My bike wasn't even a sport bike, and the only thing I could keep myself doing on the damn thing was flying around like a maniac, quite literally. And I loved it. I loved it so much. But I think this stuff is a lot better, you know. Like I'm actually offering something to you guys instead of just flying around. I like watching some YouTube channels that's pretty much what they do, you know what I mean? Adair High School. I like watching Jixer Bro, and there's a channel called The Crash Test Goat. Look at that old place. They're pretty neat. I love watching their videos, man, and it makes me feel like I'm the edge of my seat when I'm watching these fools blast 160 down the highway, cutting up these cars and stuff. But look at there, another jackass. He's a small jackass though. Just a little bit of a jackass, right? Not a lot, but just a little bit. Just enough to count. Look there. Red Door Dispensary. That looks like a little closed off little area right there. Adair seems pretty neat. I think Pryor looked a little nicer though. Well, I guess it had a little cooler stuff in it. A lot of these, I think it's cool seeing these old rundown buildings. Like, part of me wants to like be able to go back in time and just see some cows for you cow people out there enjoying their best life. I wish I was a cow sometimes, just sitting around mooing at things, eating grass, occasionally getting slaughtered, you know, the norm. But alright, you guys, I'm gonna cut out of here and stop rambling for a moment, and as soon as we get close to this dam, I'll be coming right back. Alright, you guys, so I'm pretty sure we're about to be coming up on the Pensacola Dam, the cove. Oh yeah, this is definitely it. Look at that. This is going to be pretty cool. Langley goes that way, and Disney goes this way. Ooh, it is a narrow bridge. Look at that. This place is neat. This is a massive dam. Low-key, this has got to be the biggest dam I've ran across. Look, there's a damn car, there's a damn wall, there's some damn birds, there's a few damn rocks on the side of this thing too. If any of y'all have ever been on a dam tour, I'm interested to know if you've been on a dam tour too. Look at that. It's like empty over there. Wonder what they're getting it ready for. I wonder if that's what the lake bed looks like 24/7, dude. I know Keystone's got a flooded ass little town in it. So we decided that we're just gonna go ahead and go to Pickles Bar and Grill. My main goal was to ride across the dam, and my grandpa decided, well, not decided, he just said he feels better going over to Pickles instead of Mooney's. So we're scooting on over to Pickles Bar and Grill. Hopefully they're open. If they're not, then I guess we have to go to Mooney's. Won't really have a choice now, will we? All right, you guys. So we're officially here at Pickles Bar and Grill, even though it did not look like it was open by any means. Shoes open. All right, you guys. So this place is pretty neat. I'm not gonna lie. We're sitting here staring off into these waters. Can't see it probably. Well, I guess you can see it in the GoPro. They got some fish. Up here you can get some dog food and throw it out here. Yeah, I was gonna say it.
Look at the big old mouth come up from the bottom.
Golly. That is a big catfish, man. This alone's worth it. I think feeding birds is fun. Look at him. You can see his big old mouth just walking around grabbing it, walking around.
This would be way to go fishing too. Or little turkeys ain't getting none.
Yeah, these things is every bit as like big as my arm. It's hard to see through the video, but those are some really big catfish. There's a, I know, he's huge. There's some fish that are super big down in there. It's kind of hard to see them through the camera, but they're pretty big. They got a nice patio area out here. Pretty nice, I'm not gonna lie. It'd be a good place to go and just chill out and have you some beers. Not to mention the fish swimming around are pretty neat. Looks like they got a little camper area over here. Maybe wish I had a pull-on trailer or something like that. Cool over here. I wasn't gonna go inside, but pretty neat little area. Honestly, you guys, I would say this was definitely a killer place to go up to. If y'all could get a chance to come up here and check it out, this would be a definitely good place to actually come and get you a beer at. They got some pretty good food here from what I've heard, and it's pretty nice. Love the tables. But yeah, well, hope you guys like seeing it.